There has never been a movie like X-Men Days of Future Past. Many have tried to reboot franchises, but none have so successfully attempted balancing a new generation of characters with the old cast, especially in one single incredibly well-made movie. X-Men First Class had recently come out, and it was everything the franchise needed in a reboot, being a solid prequel that fleshed out everything the mainline story stood for, but more importantly, as a starting ground for one of the most fascinating parts of the X-Men series, and that is the dynamic between Magneto and Professor X. Whether it's the grounded yet theatrical performances from Sir Ian McKellen and Sir Patrick Stewart, or the raw and emotionally explorative portrayals from Michael Fassbender and James McAvoy, they've become the characters I look forward to seeing every time I come back to the series. Two incredibly powerful mutant figures on different sides of the chessboard. They're the quintessential hero and arch nemesis.
In a comic, you know how you can tell who the arch villain's going to be? He's the exact opposite of the hero. And most times they're friends like you and me.
And yeah, the two still get along despite their warring ideologies. One stands for peace and integration, and the other stands for revolution and domination. And yet, looking back, it's sometimes hard to say who was the bad guy in their dynamic. For Magneto, the narratives often have him resorting to a flat-out destructive ultimatum at the end of most X-Men movies, with the one exception being Apocalypse, which serves as the perfect end to his character arc, which is why to this day I have no incentive to watch Dark Phoenix. You end the series with Logan and call it a day, boom. But as for the standing points of Professor X and Magneto, it was always surprisingly wholesome and refreshing to watch these two opposing figures get along so well. Because they're friends. One of the best moments in X-Men The Last Stand is when Eric stands up for Charles after one of the mutants disrespect him after his untimely death. They still hold a great deal of respect for each other and even hold the courtesy to play chess together. And that's why rebooting the series to their past, back when they were friends, makes those moments of friendship in the original trilogy that much more meaningful. Which is why Days of Future Past is so great. It shows Magneto and Professor X teaming up in both the future and the past. Because at the end of the day, they both want the same thing: peace and justice for mutants.
Peace was never an option.
Okay, When mutants are threatened around the globe, their differences are thrown aside. With the older versions of the characters, the ones we've got to watch throughout the original trilogy, we get to see them join hands and regret all the times they fought together. To anyone who's had a best friend or a close sibling, it isn't always hugs and laughs. There are times where you want to slap the shit out of them, which is why this.
Sorry, I'm just not very good with violence.
Charles.
Good to see you too, old friend.
This is so great. There's a lot of awesome moments in Days of Future Past, the whole concept is brilliant, but when Charles punches Eric in the face, it's, as far as I can recall, the only time in the movies when Charles acts violently against another person. For people watching this in the theater, the last time they saw these two was when Eric accidentally put a bullet in Charles' back, paralyzing him. So it's a nice unexpected catharsis when the person he breaks his pacifism for is Magneto. Unless you saw the trailer. But the reason why the scene works so well is because it's from raw field emotion, and Charles in response punches him in the face. Their political beliefs can clash, but it's their actions that cause tension. We live in a very politically divisive time where friendships are ruined over Facebook comments and Twitter posts. And while it feels worse than usual in 2020, the injustices being talked about have been going on for a long time. Eric and Charles work because not only do they take the time to listen to one another, but they rightfully call each other out instead of hanging up the phone and labeling them as a lost cause. Even if it means punching the other in the face every now and then, it's a beautiful display of their kinship, and it shows that their relationship has layers. Charles believes in people, that they can rise to do the right thing. Eric believes in justice for the oppressed and doing whatever it takes to rise against that oppression. Neither are wrong, and they know it. While they disagree with each other's methods of execution, they never throw away their friendship because of it. They have high points and low points, and it's why the X-Men movies are so great. When watching the movies for the first time, you never know which direction these two characters will go in the end, but at the end of the day, these two characters always got each other's back.